All right, Cubs, today is our last day learning the rest of the letters. We're going to do 6 letters to finish today. We're going to start with U. So to do a capital U, we're going to start at the top and hook down, swirl back up to the top. We're going to retrace and come out. That is a capital U. Start at the top with a little hook, swirl around to the top again, retrace, retrace, and swing out. This is a capital U. All right, for the lowercase u, very similar, except it has to start with a swoop and end with a swoop. All right, so we're going to start with a swoop, halfway, halfway, and out. So if you covered up that first swoop, you can see it looks like a regular U. Start with a swoop and end with a swoop. Notice how I retrace both of these lines. Okay, there's my capital U and my lowercase u. Pause the video and do your own. All right, let's move on to the V. Now a printed V has points, but the cursive V does not. It's got some rounded edges. So we're going to start just like the U and come around, but when we get to the top, we're not going to go back down again. We're just going to swing it out in a fancy way. So the U was retraced down, but the V stays at the top. Start with a hook, swirl back to the top. When you reach the top, we're just going to swing out. Okay. A lowercase v, it's got a little extra swoop at the beginning. So you're going to start here and then make your V. So you can see this part looks similar to this part, but we had to start with a big swoop. So start with a swoop, and then the rest of it looks similar to the capital. And there's your capital V and lowercase v. Go ahead and stop the video and write your own. Okay, the next letter is a W. All of these have very similar movements, but we're gonna, guess what? Start with a hook, that's right. But here we're gonna retrace back down to make the second part of the W and then swing out. So you can see the V only has 1, the W has 2. So start with a hook, retrace, when you touch the top, swing out. Hook, retrace, touch the top, swing out. Okay, so there's our capital W's. For the lowercase w, same thing. There is going to be some retracing though. Start with a swoop and end with a swoop. Okay. Start with a swoop. Now some people end their W's up here and some bring it down. It doesn't really matter as long as you've got 2. You could really do it either way. I'll show you both ways. Okay. Capital W and lowercase w. Pause the video to write your own. All right, let's move on. After W comes X. X is very similar, but there is some swoops. So we're going to start with a swoop and end with a swoop, cross with a straight line. Start with a swoop, end with a swoop, cross with a straight line. For the lowercase x, we have to start at the bottom again. And then this part is your x. So you can see here's a regular x, but we had to start with a swoop and end with a swoop. So basically, you're making a hill and you're xing the second part of the hill. Do you see the x hiding in there? So you basically make one hill and then x the second part. Make your hill, x that line. Make your hill, x that line. Okay, there's 5, oh look, I did 6 of them. Capital X and lowercase x. Go ahead and pause the video to write your own. All right, the next letter, we only have 2 more left in the alphabet, is a Y. To do a capital Y, we're going to start with a hook again like we have the other letters. And you're going to loop down. But when you get to this point, we're going to retrace because the capital Y hangs down. It's a big letter, isn't it? So we're going to start with a hook, go back to the top, retrace, retrace all the way down, and cross over. See where I'm crossing at the blue line and swinging out. Okay. Start with a hook, touch the top, retrace, retrace, same line, and circle back. Make sure you cross at the baseline. Okay. And now for our lowercase y's, it looks very similar except it's going to be shorter and we have to start with a loop. So there's your Y, and you bring it out. Make sure it only goes halfway up to make it look lowercase. Start with your swoop, make a regular Y, and swing out. Alright, so there's 5 capital Y's and 5 lowercase y's. Go ahead and pause the video and do your own. Alright, the last letter is a Z. Now, do you remember how weird the Q looked? Yep, well get ready because the Z is equally as strange. So a printed Z looks like this, correct? Well, our cursive one looks nothing like it. Check this out for the cursive capital Z. We're going to start almost like we did the Q, so it looks like a number 2, like this. But when you get to this point, you're going to do a little hill like this, and then it hangs down into a tail. Look at that crazy shape. That is a capital cursive Q. Let's try again. We're going to start like we did a number 2. When you reach the baseline, you're going to come up into a little hill and then put a tail on it and cross over the dotted or the baseline. Start with a 2, touch, little hill, and cross over. This is a capital Z. Yeah, take a look at those. All right, think about how that looks different from the other Z. Now, let's try the lowercase z. You're going to basically do the same shape that we did here, except shorter, okay? And instead of starting in the middle, we're going to start with a swoop. So watch this. So I'm going to start from the baseline, make this shape. I'm going to do a little hill, and then back down. So you can see the similarities in the capital Z and the lowercase z. So start here, touch the baseline, swing around. Touch here, touch the baseline, and swing around. right, I know those are crazy, but that's your last letter. They save the craziest for the last. Go ahead and pause the video to do 5 capital Z's and 5 lowercase z's. Great job, Cubs. We've done the entire alphabet. Next week, I'll be showing you how to put these letters together to make cursive words. Have a great weekend.